What's going on, everyone? Diskin Young here. So one question I get asked all the time, especially for people starting to get into real estate investing, is, hey Diskin, what happens if I buy something now and then a year or so we see another crash, recession, dip, or something like that? I'm looking to get into a real estate investment, but I don't want to lose money and I don't want to lose everything. Very valid question, correct? First answer I have for him is, you know what? That's most likely going to happen. You're most likely going to see a dip. You're most likely going to see some sort of crash or recession or something like that. The odds that the market's going to continue to go up and up forever and all eternity is very, very low. So you have to go into real estate investing just expecting the market to go up and down out over the course of when you own the real estate. That's just something you have to get used to. On the other hand, though, rental rates actually don't follow the same path and the same dips and lows that real estate home prices do. So if you look at this chart here, in 2009, you see a small dip after the recession, but not much, not very big at all. And then it continues, it makes a quick correction, and then it continues to go up. I see something more like this happening. If you think about it, when the crashes happen, recessions happen, more people can't buy real estate, and so they're forced to go rent. They're not approved, the rates might be too high, or they might not be in a position to be able to buy a house, but they do need shelter, of course, still, and somebody's always going to need a place to live, so rental rates continue to rise. And you actually see some of the strongest rental pools when there is a dip or a correction in the market. So you're going to be covered there. You're actually going to have possibly more people looking at your units to rent than before the recession or the crash and dip. One thing that's going to be important to look at is your expenses, okay? You're going to have, of course, your mortgage, where if you're in 1 to 4 units, then you're going to most likely be locked into a 15 or 30-year mortgage anyway. So you're not going to have to worry about the bank coming and calling your note and saying, hey, your property is worth less than what you owe on it, so we're going to try to take it from you now. They can't do that, okay? So you're going to have your mortgage, your property taxes, your insurance, your maintenance, your reserves. You're going to have all those dialed in. You know your numbers, and you're going to run this like a business. I treat each property like it's my own business. So when I'm looking at my properties, I look at those, and then I like to look at my reserves especially. I like to build up at least 6 months worth of reserves. That way, if there is a crash or recession, and if for some reason, I can't go 6 months without renting somehow this out, which is just crazy, I can still cover it with the reserves I have. That way also, if, side note, if I have a big repair or something happens to my roof or something like that, I still have the reserves to dip into. That way I'm not dipping into my own money, okay? But for the most part, you're going to be covered that way as well. So if you have a huge vacancy, then you're at least covered that way. Another thing to note on this is multifamily, especially more units, actually helps you out in this case, because if you can't rent for some reason 1 unit out, you have the other 3 rented, that's going to carry that one along. And most of the time, all my rental times are at different moments, so they're not all on the same exact day where they're all getting renewed. So that's just another side note. Where I do see people getting into issues when there's a downturn is flippers that are taking out high interest short-term loans. So you have to think, those people, I would be very worried if I were them about a recession or downturn, because they can happen quick. And if you have a lot of money into a project that's a high interest and a short-term loan, and you all of a sudden are saying, hey, this house is not worth up here where I thought it was going to be worth, it's worth way down here, then you can definitely run into issues. But rentals, on the other hand, that's why I love rentals so much. And when I personally go to buy a rental, I go in it thinking, I'm never going to sell this, ever. I'm going to ride this out. I don't care if it's worth $10 million or $5. I'm going to keep this forever. It cash flows. That was my purpose. I can pay down my principal, and I can be cash flowing even more in 30 years. I'm going to be set up very well. For flippers, on the other hand, they can run into big issues, especially if you have multiple going at once. You have very high interest debt out there that's at short term, and you have a lot of money tied up in projects or builders or things like that, they can run into big issues when it comes to recessions. But I see rentals as more of a foolproof way to get around worrying about recessions or crashes or downturns. I hope this helped for you guys. I hope you learned a little bit or made you feel a little bit better about getting into rentals and things like that. I love rentals. I think it's one of the best retirement plans out there. If you guys have questions or comments or anything like that, let me know. Like always, if you can like this and subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about. Also, I run an Instagram page, so if you wouldn't mind going and following that, that would be awesome. All entrepreneurial things and mindset things on there. That would be awesome. See you guys next time.